I'm not going into the politics of what he did. I don't even know what he did. I don't even know what he believes. This is just my understanding of how much his input into how to navigate life better has to do with tools that acting already provides for actors. So he's just transferring those tools, doesn't name them acting tools, and names them life tools. I'm paraphrasing, of course. So he's using terms that are being used in acting to describe the way that he works and the way that he prepares when he does all these video interviews online and globally, because he's very known. He's got millions of views online. He does prepare, but then he doesn't want to know the questions in advance. He wants the questions to come to him in the moment to try to then answer them and give himself that space of the unknown territory to come up with the answer in the present moment. As an actor, you're being taught to do the same thing. You learn the lines, you learn the monologues, you learn the scene, you learn the script analysis, you know what the whole thing is all about in a script or in a play. But then you're being told that you have to forget it and you have to allow the lines to come at you in the moment of when you are playing with the other partner on stage or by yourself in a monologue. He's describing the same tools great acting requires. As a human being, you have a goal. You want something. What do you want? What do you want? If you don't want something as an actor on stage, you have nowhere to go. That doesn't mean that your want does not change depending on the obstacles that come your way and challenges. But leaving yourself open to discover yourself, what's going to come next and how you have to go about it, in answering the questions, in overcoming what the other person is saying, in dealing with the situation in the present moment. It's about moment to moment being. That's what great acting does. Even though I know what I'm going to say, but how can I make the words that I'm saying, that I've prepared in advance and I've memorized, sound as if I am saying them for the first time? That's the challenge as an actor, as a great actor. Therefore, that's the challenge as a human being in everyday life. But it can be done. So he's putting into play, which he even uses the term, those tools that are being used by great actors. Unknown territory. Be in the unknown. Do not be afraid of self-discovery in the moment of explaining or trying to answer a question. Don't come with something that you already know for sure, because that's not going to allow for you to grow as an individual. Do you know what your aim is? You do know, but you have a clear understanding that you are going to attain that aim or that goal? No, you don't. Because if you leave yourself open, who knows what's going to happen in the moment of you being? It might take you in a direction that you haven't even anticipated, which is what keeps you alive. And then he brings in the word adventure. You want to be in an adventure of your life rather than just hope, oh, I'm going to be happy, I'm going to be happy. Adjectives are not what you want to play as actors. If you are saying to yourself as an actor that I'm going to play wanting to be happy, that doesn't make any sense, because it's not an active verb. To be happy is not an active, specific goal, objective. You have to give yourself something. Do I want to get my point across to the other person, but at the same time, I'm staying open to what the other person is saying? So the listening has to be turned up, because maybe what the other person is saying might make sense more than you had predicted in your preparation of what the person was going to say. Maybe because of the way that the person is saying it, they're going to convince you of something that maybe in your preparation of that, you are not convinced of. So the preparation happens, but then you have to forget all of that you prepared and be open to how in the moment the person is going to convince you of something else. Acting tools, acting tools, acting tools. Unbelievable. Truth and my truth, and what does that have to do with anything? There can be subjective truth that someone is experiencing. And I have to believe that the other person, the other character, as an actor, as a human being, is feeling. If somebody says to me, I'm in pain, I don't necessarily see the pain, but I'm listening and I'm watching, I'm observing, I become an observer to see what that pain is. So he is valid, or she is valid, in having a subjective truth that I can respond to. But that doesn't mean that that truth is going to become the ultimate universal truth, and everything that's being done ongoingly with that other character is going to change my behavior so I can take on that feeling of pain, and my behavior is going to change. My ultimate goal that I had to go after is going to change due to their subjective truth, which is valid. That makes so much sense. It cannot be expected to lose the truth, in order to take on someone else's truth and change everything about what you are and who you are to adapt to their truth. That's what he's saying. You can still go on going after what you want, taking into consideration what the other person said about their truth. It's so fascinating to hear him say that the one thing that we should welcome, which society nowadays does not welcome, is having people telling us, you are going a little bit overboard with what you're doing. You're going a little bit overboard with the way that you're playing with the other person. And he uses all these terms, the way you're dancing around it, the way you're playing with the other person. The listening to other people's opinion is what keeps you a human being that's rational, because you do not want to be like the dictators who surround themselves by yes people, yes people, yes people, yes people, and then they have no concept of how far they're going. It just makes so much sense that all of these rules and all of these suggestions that he has, and people are paying attention to them in such a high number, is because they are so well described by him, and they are so well at play for so many years as actors. That's what I talk about with actors. That's what we do. We are going and using these tools that the method acting provides in order to be able to create a character that's going to be a complex human being, the way that he said. The complexity in the characters and the findings that we not always reach a conclusion with, but we're in the question area, is what make characters be so identifiable to audiences who watch and love them, because we don't have answers for everything the characters are doing. We are in the complex territory of I don't know. It's brilliant. And about politeness and being kind and bowing. Actors have to learn not to bow, because by bowing, even to the other partner on stage as an actor, you are doing the other person disservice. You're not helping the other person if you're being polite all the time, and if you're pretending to be kind all the time, or even if you get to kindness inside yourself and that's all you bring out on stage, at play, or in a script, you're not helping the other person. What I tell my students and what we talk about all the time, and I try to apply to myself for as much as I can in my life, because we have to ongoingly train ourselves and work on ourselves to be able to be better, is to leave politeness outside the door. Leave politeness to the side. That doesn't mean that you go and you hurt somebody else, but you leave the politeness, because if you don't bring the politeness and the victimhood or the bowing to show how kind you are, you will have been better as a person for yourself, and you will have helped the person that you're playing with or against, because you will challenge yourself to see what else is there. You will challenge your partner. You will challenge the other partner to be in the moment, himself or herself, rather than just play to, oh yes, I'm here, the partner, the actor across the stage from me, I'm here, I'm bowing to you. Then the other person has nothing to work for. They have nothing to overcome. And that also happens in life. As he said, if you're bowing all the time, then after a lifetime of bowing, the resentment that comes out of you doing that will be so toxic to you and to the rest of the people in your life that if you would have chosen the way of leaving politeness to the side and being a little bit selfish in the way that you approach your life, that will have helped the people in your life as much as you will have helped yourself. That's an acting direction, that's an acting suggestion, which he now reminds us that it is the same for everyday life to be taken on. The fact that somebody like this doctor can help somebody who's already famous and competent and mentally and physically strong as Cristiano Ronaldo is the same fascination and the same surprise that people have when I travel and I tell them that famous actors and great actors, even though they're at the type of their game in their career as actors, they're still working with an acting coach. And they're all shocked and surprised by it. Majority of the people, majority of the actors believe that acting is a few-year program that you go to and then you stop and then you are a great actor. It is not being made clear that famous actors all their lives are working with their acting coaches. Some of them have worked with their acting coaches that they had as acting teachers since they were young, and they continue to keep those acting coaches. Others are employing acting coaches for the first time when they're in their middle of the career, because now it's becoming more known that that is the thing. This actor is the same. He is working with Cristiano Ronaldo. He's working with people who on the surface look like they would not need anybody to guide their lives because they have the money, they've had a career, they're famous, and life is just perfect. And there's no such thing as that. So he's a reminder to all of us that working on yourself with the coach, with an acting coach, with a life coach, with a psychologist is a necessity for the entire lives that we are lucky to have on this planet Earth. No matter the money success, no matter the career success, no matter the friendship success, it is the same for acting. Great actors are working with their acting coaches because they are wise enough to know that the training of knowing how to be better equipped as a human being in life never ends. And what better way to do it than with somebody who can help you navigate that just a little bit better? It makes so much sense. Only the fact that I'm watching this interview is making me put my goal back to the front of my brain and is making me think about it in a more practical way. And that's exactly what he says. If you're asking the question in your life, what is it that you want to do? What is it that you know you're capable of doing? But ask the question in a way that is practical, in a way that's not just a question that's being left midway in the air, but it's put in a way that's active, practical, and you actually give yourself the answer or write down the answer to what the goal is, to then how many ways of you are going for it, how many ways of trying to attain that are there in a practical way. Put them down, write them down. Are the same tools. Again, it's the same thing that you have to do when you do script analysis for a character in a play. What is it that my character wants? What is it that my character's ultimate goal, overall objective is? And how many ways are there to try to go about it? Because if you go one way about it and you cannot succeed, then there are other ways. There's a second one, there's a third, there's a fourth, there's a fifth. Write them all down. Try all of them before you give up. Because as a character, you cannot give up. Because if you give up as a character in a play or in a movie, the movie stops, the play stops, and you cannot do that. So that kind of understanding from a character's will help you in everyday life to say, I'm not going to give up. Because if I don't succeed in this way of going about to achieve my goal, there's got to be another way. The second way doesn't work. There's a third way. There's a fourth way. But you gotta do it in practice. You have to go for it in a way that is practical. The same way that I tell my actors. Acting is not theoretical. Acting is getting up on your feet and doing it. Well, if acting requires that of the actors, why wouldn't life require that of the people living it? My God, what an interview. This was quite something, wasn't it? Whoa.